good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, as well as other podcasting channels. And we are on episode 6 of In the Trenches with Early Educators. And tonight we have a interesting show. And I say interesting because it's just myself and the host of the show, Sharon. Um, and tonight's topic is a discussion on professionalism. And as a way of questioning the professionalism, it was you wore that to your interview. What's up, Sharon?
Hey, it's you wore that to interview? Are you
what's
kidding me?
what's going on?
How you doing, Quentin? I
I'm all
am
right.
well. And yourself? How were your
I'm
holidays?
good. Everything is well. Last 2 weeks is kind of slow. I always call this time, even though they call this the holiday season. I call this the slowest time of the year between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Everything just drags on, and
Really?
I'm a winter person, so it doesn't bother me with the cold air and the snow.
Um,
But you don't see much snow down that way, so
Guess what? We got a little dusting in the metro area on Monday. And when I woke up yesterday morning, I had to wait for a while for all of the ice to defrost off my car. So we got a little bit, but it wasn't nothing really stuck to the ground. But yeah, but we don't really deal with snow.
mm. So in our discussion with
Wait a
in
minute,
the
hold on. I didn't do my shout outs.
okay.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. As usual, that intro was done by my son, Marcus Allen, and he is Mark underscore DA producer at Instagram. So if you need a beat, if you need studio time, hit him up. He's your guy. And then I also want to shout out another sponsor that we have tonight, Doe's Craft Day, like cafe, but craft day. She makes resin keychains and trays and some other things. Her work is beautiful. It's all handmade. She uses real flowers in her art. And so you can find her at Doe's Crafte, Crafte, on all social media. All right. And she has a special that she is running. And you can find that special on the Shopping with Sharon Facebook page, where I'm spotlighting small Black owned businesses where you can shop for Christmas gifts this season. And you can find her video there where she will explain to you what her special is. So, Shopping with Sharon for small businesses for gift ideas, and Doe's Craft Day to go and see what her lovely items are. So, thank you, Quentin. Now we can jump right into our wonderful topic this evening.
Yeah, in our discussions, usually we talk specifically about education and educators. But this discussion is a little bit broader, and it touches on actually everybody. Everybody could benefit from this discussion, no matter what field they may or may not be in. I'm a little. I sound a little ruffled. Could you hear me, Sharon?
Yeah, you don't sound ruffled to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in our discussion tonight, everybody could benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that, saying that, explain to people what is like why you chose this discussion so much. Why is it so passionate to you?
Okay. So, I have held some supervisory positions, but recently I have a staffing agency, Destiny Staffing Group, and we provide substitutes for childcare programs. And we have been interviewing lately for people who say they want to work. And it is amazing to me. I've seen a lot of things on the job. And we'll talk about some stories of some things that I've seen, give people some examples so we'll know what I mean when I say professionalism. And it is amazing to me the way that people respond and act before they even get the job. I'm like, really? That's how you roll? That's what you're gonna say to your possible future employer in your email. That's what you're gonna say? Oh, okay. Delete. Yes.
So a lot of times people feel like, I'm going to an interview. Okay, like we discussed behind the scenes, a lot of times the person in HR may give the person, okay, we have times between 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30 is open. I say, well, Sharon, I'll be there at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is good. What would be the most professional time to show up?
Before 10 o'clock. Seriously, I would say 15, 10, 15 minutes before the appointment. To show, not to pull in the driveway, to actually knock on the door or come in and greet the receptionist, and then you sit and wait. Because one of the things that does for you, the more time you have to sit and wait, you can breathe, because a lot of times people are nervous about going on a job interview. So it gives you some time to breathe, to clear your mind from the traffic, from trying to get there, so that when you go into the interview, you are bringing your best self. When you are pulling up at 2 minutes to 10 and you're trying to hurry up, and then you find out you've got to walk down the hallway and around the corner to get to the elevator, and then you've got to go up to the 10th floor, and then you've got to, that's how come you need to plan to be there early. Because what early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable.
Even so much now that most jobs are telling you get there early because we take temperatures. You got to wear masks, certain COVID protocols before you come into places. Does it amaze you that a person will will talk your ear off over the phone of how much they want the job, and then just blow the whole interview far as coming late or not dressing professional?
Yes, it is blowing my mind. And I have one even better. How about not showing up and not calling? Just a no show. You confirm 10 o'clock? Yeah, 10 o'clock works for me. Are you sure? You chose the time, not me. You chose that time, 10 o'clock. And then 10 o'clock comes, 10:05, 10:15, 10:30, and you don't show, you don't call. That My client asked me, well, what do you do when that happens? I said, well, what do you do when you schedule an interview and they don't show? She said, oh, I shred their resume. Exactly.
Mm.
You do not get a second chance to make a first impression.
Say it again.
I said, you do not get a second chance to make a first impression.
Mm.
You have one opportunity to make that first impression.
So answering to ask your question that you posed, you wore that to your interview. What would you describe as that?
Oh, I have a great example from several years ago. We were interviewing for some teaching positions at our child care program. And so this young lady comes in. She has on, so again, this is for a teaching position in a child care program, right? So while we're not a Fortune 500, the expectation is not that you come in your pinstripe skirt suit or pantsuit with your attache case, and that's not the expectation. However, she walked in, she had on some heels, about, I don't know, 5-inch high heels, some skinny jeans, and a shirt that showed her tattoo in the middle of her back. her small of her back. We, put her in the room and we went into the office and we like, what is she? Did she really wear this to it? She's here for an interview trying to get a job to work here, right? And that's how she. Are you kidding me? So it's in our environment. The expectation, you don't have to come, like I said, like you are going for, the assistant VP position, but you do need to come professional, business, not even business casual. Put on a nice pair of slacks, a nice skirt, nice blouse. You're coming to, you don't want to put on the club shoes. You want to put on business, 1.5 to 2 inch heel or flats, even. It, if it's time to redo your hair, wrap it up and put a scarf on it, babe. Don't come with it. I'm
Do you
just
think
saying.
do you think that in your opinion, doing what you do and seeing hundreds and hundreds of people coming for an interview, do you think people um consider that the appearance has any bearing on them getting hired?
Um, it's one of two things, I think, Quentin. Either what you just said, they don't realize that it plays a part in their in who they are presenting themselves to be, um, or they don't care.
Wow.
And I can deal with a lack of knowledge because I can work with that because the thing is, this young lady that hey Julia, I'm glad you think so. Thank you for joining. She interviewed very well. She knew her stuff. So she was a person. Now, the director, who was a friend of mine, she was hard. She was like, mm-mm. And I said, okay, but she's a little young. She interviewed well. She knows what she's doing. You don't, mm-mm, mm-mm. Because mm-mm. And I feel like with the staffing agency, part of what we're doing is part of our mission is we want to help people become employable. Well, we didn't know we were asking for. The words you speak create your reality. So I cannot easily just toss somebody who comes like that. My job is, you interviewed so well. And because of our mission, we're going to move you forward. However, had you gone somewhere else, so let's talk a little bit about what you have on. Give you another example. And I think a lot of it, Quentin, is about the well, I don't know how you want to say that. No, it's not. So I was gonna say it's about age, but no, it's not. See, there you go, Julia. She said she was sent them back to change their clothes. Yes.
One of the things that wow, my thought just left me. I had a thought that was right
That's
there.
it's gonna come back. But while you having that thought, um, just yesterday, had some interviews, right? So one of the things I asked them is to send me a headshot or not a picture where we can crop their face for their ID badge, right? This is for your work ID. I get.
So you was asking for real selfies, but they were taking selfies.
She sent a feather boa, real thick make, like it was boo. So when she was sitting, I said, "Oh yeah, so and so." I said, "I'm gonna need you to send me another headshot." Oh, okay, okay. So I mean, it's like the minute I said I'm gonna need another one, she knew it was inappropriate. Why would you send that for your
Well,
ID badge for work?
one of the things, Sharon, and I know that the staffing agency is your business, but one of the things that I noticed that a lot of staffing agencies, definitely when you're talking about that's dealing with unemployment, that have a connection with unemployment, is that I used to wonder this why they did this, but now that we're having this discussion, I understand that a lot of times they'll want you to go to a life skills class first to
I'm glad
teach you
you.
these type of things, because that may
Yes.
be an element that maybe you may have to institute. Like before we even get you an interview somewhere, we gotta really, for lack of better words in the chat, we gotta raise you. We gotta bring you up
Mm-hmm. And
because
again, that's part of what we're doing. So I don't talk now. If you're a no show, no call, I have to feel it in my spirit to reach back out to you. I really have to. Like some people, I will get the message. Don't let them go, and then I'll give them a call. What happened? And it's usually a very good reason why they didn't show up. But boo, you are on this all the time. 30 seconds. I apologize. I won't be able to make it today. Is it okay if I call you later to reschedule?
mm,
Boo! So I think part of it is a teaching thing, and we have to do a better job. I think part of what we need to do is these organizations need to reach back and start going into the high schools and talking to them about the life skills etiquette. How do you do a job? How do you dress for a job interview? What do you need to do in these wow, in these situations? All right, so Julia says they had a 6-week course because there's a lot to cover.
yeah, because I know a lot of times, and I'm speaking from experience, my personal experience. Um, Confidence is something that a lot of person can't exude or have in the beginning. I could come to you and be like, or hit you. Oh, Miss Hudgens, I need a job. Or I could be real enthusiastic and be like, look, I just need a job. I need just get me a job. I need to take care of myself. And I have a theory that I live by is get me the interview, I'll get me the job.
That's right. Just
Just
let
give me
just
an
just
interview,
let me
I'll get
talk
the job.
to
Yeah, yeah, I'm good. Just put them in front of me. I know who to talk to.
them.
And it's
Yes.
and it's a lot of us we lack those social skills to be able to be confident in our resume, confident in can we do the job, and it's like that affects the professionalism aspect because for some reason I know I got to call Sharon to try to get a job, but I don't tell Sharon about my issues.
Mm-hmm.
I only want to blow it off, and now Sharon's calling me because she knows that I need a job because it's a family friend, but I no call no showed.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that
Yeah.
this is important for us, and I'm glad that you decided to use this topic because it's very key that we tap into lacking confidence.
Yeah.
I've been unemployed and I've been in situations where being unemployed put me in a place like, yo, I ain't on a job. What is this? And now with COVID, we got millions of people that's not working. Unemployment's not enough. The food banks have ran out. Some
Mm-hmm.
people don't, or they lack that humility to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that life skills has to be part of getting a person up to be able to go to a job interview. Because people
Mm-hmm.
don't know, and they'll fake it.
Yes, they will. And I guess that is what's so mind blowing for me because we do a telephone screening interview first. They do very well with that part. And so we've started asking a disclaimer. So, okay, before we get started, if you apply for this job simply to meet requirements for unemployment or some other program you're a part of, and you really are just trying to meet your quota for applying, we can end the call now. It's perfectly okay. I get it. We've all been there and done that. If you really are not interested, you can go ahead, we can go ahead and end the call. No, 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 ma'am. No, no, I'm interested. I want to work. I'm looking for a job. Okay, so interview goes well. We set the time and then you don't show up. Do
Mm.
I need to give you a reminder text at 7 o'clock that morning? Hi, just to remind you, you have an interview today. No, I'm not doing that. Not now, if it was a class, if it were a class, I might be a little, hold, because it's like when children learn how to walk. You hold their hands, you support them, you walk with them, and then eventually you get lighter and lighter, and then you finally let them go, and they walk on their own, right? If we were doing, I think it was Julia, if we were doing her 6-week class, that's what we do. We start holding their hand, we walk them through, and then we let go. But when you are straight out coming at me, you've answered this Indeed ad for employment. You've called. We've had the interview. You did everything we asked you to do, and there's simple things. We sent an email. Please fill these forms out, the attached forms out, and bring them with you. A reply. So, do you want me to bring these 2 forms you sent, baby? Did you read the email? So if you're not reading an email I sent you from a potential job, are you going to read the emails that I send you as a supervisor, giving you important information about your job duties and responsibilities? So it's a lot. It's dress, it's attitude. What else? How you carry yourself, your demeanor. Um, do you come in with this good morning? How you doing?
Mm.
No. Well, I had some experience, but I ain't like that job, so I left. As opposed to good morning. Yes, yes, ma'am, I have. No, I haven't had any experience with that, but I'm a really fast learner. And I love to learn. So anything that I don't know, I feel like if you give me the opportunity to learn how to do it, then once I learn, I'll take it and run.
Do you find yourself with having to prep someone up once they get to you that you may have not couldn't detect it over the phone?
You mean yes, 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 yes. And that's the whole point. This phone screener is really a lot about how are you responding to the questions. How are you even engaging with me? Are you having a conversation, or are you simply yes, no, one? I've done that before. That's the first thing. So if you don't get asked to the orientation, you didn't make it past the phone screen interview. So when we invite you to come in for the paperwork piece, it's because we were impressed with you. And at that point, we go through our policies and procedures. We do a little bit of training. We talk about the expectations of when you go out. We talk about how we expect for you to dress. We have a dress code. We talk about your demeanor. Smile, be pleasant, have a pleasant attitude. Greet people. We talk about these things because we want to make sure, because you're not going out as Sharon, you're going out as Destiny Staffing Group. So whatever you do, we talk about that. Whatever you do out there is a reflection on us. And we have a reputation we want to uphold. And so we're not going to allow you to tarnish our reputation. As well as we expect our clients have some rules and regulations and policies they have to follow. So we let them know it's a two-way street.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to be respectful, but then our client has to respect you also. And if they don't, you need to report that to us, because what we won't tolerate is accepting business from people who aren't going to respect our clients, our staff people.
Yeah, we've been having this discussion in the group, Sharon, about the guy that had the restaurant in Dallas. And I told you, you brought up the topic at the perfect time. And I have been wanting to talk about this topic. I put in the group, and And a lot of times I'll put something in the group, or the moderators or anybody put something in the
I
group,
saw that.
and discussion to go, and discussion to go right, discussion to go left. And sometimes the issue or never gets addressed, or me and you agree, but instead of us realizing that we agree, we're just trying to prove a point to each other. And now we done went back and forth for about 20 minutes, but we really agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna ask you.
Mm-mm. Yes, sir. Yes. I'm going to answer you, I think. Let, let me sit back, way back for
they
this one.
consider what he did restaurant suicide. As a former person who had my own business, it is suicide. What he did, and I think that a lot of people don't understand that what he did is not that he was wrong for saying what he said. It was just a decorum in the professional man, the unprofessional manner that how he addressed it.
Right.
What is your opinion on how he should have handled that situation? Because he's getting destroyed on Yelp right now. I mean,
He was
blasted.
unprofessional. And this is the thing. That is your business. You are creating a brand. And so then I didn't see like a full clip. What I saw, the girl was on the wall twerking or whatever. He walks over there and begins to talk to her. Then it goes to him, basically cussing, giving a little speech, and then he throws in some curse words and whatnot. I feel like, number one, what kind of music were you playing that she was twerking? Because if I am catering to a fine dining experience, then there's a certain kind of music I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain environment I'm creating, you know. And I feel like I don't believe in calling people out like that. I think that he could have written her a nice note and given it to her once she got her receipt. You know what I'm saying? And
Well, allegedly, he had pulled her and talked her to the side 2 times prior.
oh, really? See, I don't know the whole story.
Yeah,
So
allegedly.
I'm answering based on that one little clip I
Okay.
explained that I saw. Um, so again, though, at that point, like, she's a customer, and if you've talked to her already, she's continuing. Ma'am, you are continuing to break. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And no matter what she does, no matter how she responds, you have to keep that demeanor. And then if you've trained your staff, once they see her being elevated, and they're already calling 911. Because see, by the time 911 gets there, she's going off cussing at you, and you're standing there, ma'am. I just simply have asked you. I'm trying to keep a particular atmosphere here. You are destroying that. You're disrespecting my guests, and I'm asking you to leave, because you have the right in your business to ask anybody for you have the right to refuse service to anybody for whatever your reasons are, except for that discrimination thing or whatever.
I think that I think that I think that first of all, sometimes situation where and people may think this is straddling the fence. I think that sometimes people don't realize two people could be right and wrong at the same time. He handled it very professionally up until the point where he gave a lecture, because the other patrons in the store that wasn't doing it, they didn't need to be bothered with that. And me personally, if I was sitting there eating with whomever, I would have been offended that he kind of came over and started lecturing me or in my vicinity about his how he runs his business.
Mm-hmm.
I would have expected him to call the cops or kick her out or whatever. And then bringing some of the things that he said, bringing up blackness and the culture, that has nothing to do with being professional. You talking about you providing the environment for us as black people. That has nothing to do with it. You don't bring race, don't bring my race into you acting professional.
Right.
And that's where he gave the girl the power.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like at the
Yep.
end of the day, the girl was wrong. And we know how sometimes I've been there where I go places and we got unruly friends. And then, they'll tell one of my friends to stop and then I'll start. I done did all that. But at a certain point, when you have a business, as business owners, we have to understand that every day we are our brand.
That's right.
Every day we are our own CEO. So the minute that you get, as we would say, knocked off your square and give somebody else the power, you're in trouble.
Absolutely.
You're in trouble. And I was looking at Yelp today purposely and looking at his reviews. His reviews prior to this incident was all good. His reviews have gotten so bad since the incidents, Yelp shut down his reviews. And Yelp don't shut reviews down because of just bad reviews. Yelp shut reviews down when they know that people are basically lying. I mean, so at the
Mm.
end of the day, you know, he's trying to have a restaurant. He gave them the power.
Yeah.
He gave the camera the power because the
Yeah.
camera's never going to tell the full story.
Right.
He's
Because
gonna
that's what I said. It didn't tell the whole, it didn't tell the full story. I saw a piece of, and even in the clip, it wasn't it was like they were recording and then they stopped and then they started recording again.
and
And
like Julia just said in his speech, he said the worst thing. He said he did not need the money.
yeah.
He said he did not need the money, and
And
I think that
I don't know what kind of bit, right. Well, if he doesn't need the money, they get ready to show him how much he don't. And now, see, that's the thing. You'll never hear me tell anybody, "Oh, I don't need your money." And while all money is not good money, and there are things that I turn down because there's a conflict of interest. There's, values are different, whatever it might be. Okay, all money is not good money, but if you're gonna survive, you do need money. And
hmm
if you are that rich that you just had this restaurant for the purposes of wanting to be a service to the community, okay, I guess so, but I doubt that because if you were, you wouldn't have handled yourself that way. So again, I think while as a restaurant owner, he has the right to want a particular atmosphere for his clientele. But the other thing is that um, he has to keep professionalism because, like you said, the moment he lost it and went there,
that's all anybody cares about. Nobody cares about the twerk because guess what? At the end of the day, whether if you're allowing somebody to two step and the next person can't twerk, what is this thing about twerking that bothers you? I mean, it's a form of expression. Now, we may think that it's a little too sexual or whatever, but it's a dance. It's part one of the things that is amazing to me is that we look at everything in our culture that's bad or think of it as bad. We may not understand and be like, I don't understand, or then we become like the get off my lawn type of person. Just say I don't understand,
right?
or it's not appropriate. But so you might be allowing people to two step, and then why do you got a couch there? So if it's a couch there, it's like a lounge area.
And so and again, that's what I said about the music. She wouldn't have been twerking to some soft jazz, would she?
I doubt it very
She
seriously.
wouldn't have been twerking to some, smooth R&B. You know what I'm saying? Twerking, there's a certain type of music that people dance that way too. So you can't say on the one hand, this is the atmosphere I'm trying to create, but on the other hand, this is what you're actually creating,
Mm.
And again, I guess if his customers were not complaining, it's not a big deal. And like
Yeah.
I said, you simply write a little note, hand it to her on her way out the door so that she can go on out there and read it later. You know what I'm saying? And it's just simply, we appreciate your business, blah blah blah. Some of the customers were a little offended, blah 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 blah, or not. But what he did, the way he handled that, was very unprofessional. You can never, that phrase, never let them see you sweat.
Mm-hmm.
You can you have to stay here, no matter where they go. I, I had a young lady on, again, trying to get a job with us. And an email was sent to her or something, and she called, and I'm having a conversation. Why she don't know what she talking about. I said, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm gonna need you to bring that tone down. I'm gonna need you to bring it down. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, yes. Okay, now we can talk. Now, what are you trying to say? So she starts talking and it starts going up there. I said, ma'am, I'm gonna have to hang up on you if you cannot bring your voice down and talk to me. I'm trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to hear what you're saying, but I'm not gonna listen to you if you're gonna be disrespectful and yell at me on the phone. So she brought it down. She started, and so at the end of the conversation, she said, and I apologize. She said, thank you for having patience with me. She said, I apologize. I said, no problem, because I don't know where she sounded like the type. Again, we've got people who live on the edge, and you say one thing to them, and they feel like they've been disrespected or they feel wronged or anyway, they go from 0 to 100 real fast.
Mm.
And before I just dismiss you, I'm going to try to de escalate because I really do want to help you. Obviously, you're upset. Something we did has upset you. And I want to help to resolve that. But what I'm not going to do is help resolve it if you're going to sit on this phone and be disrespectful to me. So, and again, she was one of the ones that said she was coming to the orientation and didn't show up. But whatever. Hopefully that little nugget will help her in the next situation, because that wasn't just about that one situation. That's a life skill. No, baby, that's
Mm.
not how that's why I could never be at the call center doing customer service. People tell me I could because I'm not going to have people yelling at me all day.
Do you think, Sharon, and it's, you are God sent. Sometimes I tell you, when
Just
we
sometimes.
just sometimes.
I'm not
No,
going
no,
I'm
no.
going to keep
Honest,
it professional and not ask what I am other times.
okay. Now, honestly, when we discuss, and I know your primary thing is early educators.
Right.
However, do you think education wise, our country has really lost its way from the middle school, high school level? We're preparing the young adults for these type of situations, encounters, these, like how she was, the tone and manner, like we would say, like Julia said, it's a brand, it's your CEO. The elders would always say, when you go out the house, remember that last name you got. You represent me. You represent your family. Have some respect. Do you think that? And I really don't like to be like I said, the person to be like, "Well, the generation before us was different." I don't want to be that type of person. But do you think that education wise is just not being taught how it was taught before?
I think that is part of it. But I think the reason it's not being taught is our society has changed on a whole, on a whole. Because I was thinking this earlier when you said it. I was taught you look a certain way before you leave the house. You don't go out with rollers in your hair, with a scarf wrapped around your head. And um, now there are so many things that have become, well, I don't even want to say, I don't know how acceptable. It's just it's what we do. We go to the store in pajama pants and slippers and a bonnet. You know, we walk around with our pants mid thigh. At that point, what is the purpose? But um, and so, and then it goes back even further because I'm a Spelman grad. Way back when Spelmanites went to chapel or to church, they wore gloves, white gloves. The dress, they were well dressed, little pillbox hat or whatever. There was a certain way that they dressed. And whether you agree with whether or not all that is necessary, there was a proper way to look. And it was, I think a lot of it was about, again, how you look, how you present yourself represents our family name. You're representing something much more than just yourself. And we've become such a self-centered society. I do what I want to do.
Yeah, I had an uncle that's passed away now, and he we were real tight, and he and my his parents, they went to church, and they were my grandparents was into church, but my uncle, I won't say my uncle believed in the church and everything, but my uncle said something to me probably 25 years ago, and he told me, he said, you'll probably live longer than me. He said, but the day that they took church and prayer out of school, he said, our society is in trouble. And it always stuck with me because I'm like, I was raised that church and state was different. So I don't, I mean, when I was in
Mm-hmm.
little school, I remember people used to do the Pledge of Allegiance, but as you got older, people didn't do it. And then they
Mm-hmm.
basically took all that church and religion out of schools because of separation of church and state. And it's just amazing how what he said has came to be true because of something that we may say is against the law or against people's right of religion or whatever, but he always felt as though our society will decay from something as small as that.
Yeah. And well, we become a moralist, ethicless society. And just look at what was happening in with our top leadership, and we continue to allow, nobody said anything. No, we complained on Facebook and Twitter, but we didn't go in droves and make demands. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Well, and to your uncle's point, in our effort to be accepting, we lost ourselves. This country was founded on Christian principles. That was our founding. So whether you're a Christian or not has nothing to do with it. Because if we go to a Muslim country, as a woman, I'm going to have to cover my head out in public, or I may be arrested in certain areas of the world, you know? And so, because their country is respecting what their country stands for, or what their city stands for, their town, or whatever, their providence, you know? Ha.
You know,
And, and, and so,
it's funny because I have some paralegal background, right? And I've I've always been enamored with the Constitution and the laws, even though that these people were racist.
right.
But when you look at their mind and what they intended, and this is what the justices, whenever they make a ruling, they always say the intention of the Constitution. I think the minds were incredible
Mm-hmm.
because when you look at certain laws and why they did certain things. And like you said, with that foundation and them trying to, as they say, break away from the old country,
Mm-hmm.
it has to have a balance.
Mm-hmm.
And now it has tilted too far to the right, too far as well, some may say right, some may say left, but it's not a balance anymore.
Mhm.
It's not a balance. And it's like the country's equilibrium is off, and
Yeah.
we're a little
Because
too
anything goes, anything, and while I don't think that there are certain areas I feel that the law doesn't need to govern. I do feel like we have come to a place, like I said, where we are just a moralist society that you just get to do whatever you want to do, because to me, um, going back to the restaurant and to professionalism, if I am, I like to dance. I didn't go to the club to meet guys. I didn't go to drink a whole. I went to dance. If I'm out there on the floor by myself, I just the music and I just start dancing, right? But that's an appropriate place for that. If I go to a restaurant that doesn't have a dance floor, you know, even though they might play some music that hits me and I'm like, oh my God, I want to dance, I'm probably not going to get up and dance. So, but that's because I have certain standards that govern my behavior. So the whole point, to me, it's not even about the twerking. But again, you're behaving like you would in a club atmosphere at a restaurant. So where are your lines of what's appropriate based on where you are?
mm,
You know?
it's a very interesting thing because like I believe that he was holding out. He was holding out to me. He was being professional. He was biting his tongue, and then he just got into his element. And was like, look, and then the lecture started, and he couldn't help it. You know, he was, as they say,
He
that
had
temper.
had it. He was up
Yeah,
to here with
that temporary insanity done kicked
it.
in, and
That-
he was like, y'all want to come in here and cut up? We gonna cut up.
Mhm.
And you know, it's amazing that this type of behavior sometimes it gets sensationalized. You know,
Too often.
it goes viral that this had to happen. Um, and instead, um, maybe the young ladies and maybe himself could have used it as a teachable moment. Like, look, twerking is no different than two stepping. I'm offended that you're allowing somebody to two step in here and you're not allowing me to twerk. I understand I might be on your
Mhm.
sofa, but I don't have my feet in your sofa. I'm actually on my knees and I'm, you know. But it's a very like I always say that we have a lens and our lens sees different,
That's
and
right. It
it's
all
just
depends on your perspective.
yeah, and it's just a matter of I guess he felt at that point after two or three times he felt disrespected.
Yeah.
And now, unfortunately, his business is getting bad reviews. You know, a lot of people came to his defense. I came to his defense up until that point. I mean, you know,
Um, if he issues a public apology, because that's another thing, we are very forgiving, and I'm one of those people. I did watch Olivia Pope, and I learned a lot from her. And she was a fixer. And the whole point, he kind of needs an Olivia Pope moment. He needs to fix this, or you're going out of business.
yeah,
And so he can fix it. There are lots of ways that he can fix it. Um, and the biggest thing he needs to do is apologize for his behavior, not apologize, that I, whatever, but basically I lost it and became unprofessional. Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. But again, when I read one of the things they said it was a 5-star restaurant. So in my head, I immediately went to, 5-star restaurant. I'm thinking linen tablecloths, real silverware stuff on the table. That's where my mind
I
went.
mean, I mean,
But
honestly,
now I realize when you say Yelp, they might have meant he had 5 stars from his reviews that people liked him, because when I saw the restaurant, I was like, that ain't no 5-star restaurant.
because of my culinary background, I'm just gonna tell you, a lot of that 5-star stuff and 5-star chef and world renowned chef, a lot of that stuff is how you brand yourself.
It- it- but again,
Like
I
like
didn't know what.
you may think that for example, Sylvia's back in the day in New York, everybody loved Sylvia's. Everybody. Somebody may be like, "Oh, that was a soul food joint," or "That was a hole in the wall," or that was the spot. That would be considered what we would consider now a 5-star restaurant.
But
Some
see,
people,
again, 5-star, what? 5-star based
e-
on you got good food,
exactly,
or 5-star in the restaurant world, meaning 5-star means you probably got $4 or $5 signs up under there, as
yeah,
opposed to, so
yeah,
that my mind, 5-star hotel. I'm not staying at a
yeah,
2-star hotel. I'm just
yeah.
not. I'm very picky about that kind of stuff. I'm not doing a 2-star. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I went to. But then when I saw the video, I said, oh no, they meant 5 stars that people liked his restaurant. They didn't mean that he was a 5-star
Yeah.
upscale restaurant.
You got to come in here with a jacket on and all
Right,
that.
right. Because I looked at, I'm like, no, that you weren't. This is not upscale now. And again, if you didn't want that kind of dancing, what kind of music were you playing? I couldn't hear it clearly in the background. So again, your parameters, to me, there's a code of conduct when it comes to professionalism, and you're trying to get a job, or professionalism on the job. Once you're on the job, Julia just put a statement up talking about the restaurant has to draw the lines, and let people know what kind of restaurant you are. Well, it's the same any business. We let you know. That's why we do an orientation before we
No,
send you out.
no. As they say, no business starts with rules. Rules come along the line when people start doing whatever they want to do. Because if you don't have set rules, people will do what you
What
allow
they
them to
want.
do. They,
and
they,
and that's but see, I know that. I knew that. So we did start with a policy.
yeah.
We have a policy and procedure, but you know now I'm feeling like in the phone interview again, we have had some challenges with people agreeing to show up and they don't show up. If
I'm
you're
gonna
not,
ask you. I'm gonna ask you a question, Sharon.
what?
And I know that
Oh
one of
Lord,
your personal pet peeves is the no call, no show.
because that's
Quentin, Qu-
disrespectful.
Quentin has called you every other week, and he's been a no call, no show. How do you handle that? Quentin may go and review your business as bad, but he's been the one no call, no show. Because I worked for an employee, and this guy, all he cared about was his reviews. We would be at work. He'd be like, "Look, fellas, I got a bad review. What's up?" And it was upscale, pretty decent, pretty good paying, great tips, good job. But he was big on his reviews. How would you handle me or that situation?
I
And I
think
know
we
it's
are.
tricky. I know it's tricky.
Well, not really. You mean that you're not coming to work?
No, I'm not even. I'm no calling no show. But then I'm on. But you know my name
Oh,
because
but
I'm
then you
calling for
go
the.
and give me a bad review
And you
because
see my name. And you see my name.
so the thing is, we are allowed to, oftentimes you can respond to reviews. If you can't, it is what it is. I can't, we have in the childcare industry, we have parents who get mad and call the state and lie because now the state has to come out and they're required to come out and do an investigation, and there's a mark on your thing. So I tell people, I said, be careful when you see that, especially if you see a group of them happening around the same time and they're all unsubstantiated. Sometimes, because if the program is really doing something wrong, they're going to find something to substantiate the complaint. But if they have 3 complaints and all 3 of them have been unsubstantiated, 9 times out of 10, that was a disgruntled parent or disgruntled staff person. Personally, for my business, and even how I go, most of the time we pay attention to what happens. The child comes home with all A's and B's and has 1 C. And what's the first thing the parent does? What you doing in that class? I can't believe you got that C. What are you doing? Why? How come you not? But daddy, mama, this child has 7 A's and B's and 1 C in a class that either was very difficult or maybe the teacher, you know what I'm
Shoot,
saying?
based off the A's, I would think that they would be in advanced classes.
So for me, if I have 25 reviews, 23 of them 4 and 5 stars, they love us. You
No, I'm
okay?
good. I'm
They
good.
love us. Everything is, and 2 of them are just hard, because I do evaluations when I do training. Evaluations never fails. Somebody just has to, but all the other evaluations were glowing great. These 2 people raked us over the coals. Well, I read what they say. Now, if they leave comments, because maybe now the room was cold. Okay, well, I put the disclaimer out there. I can't do anything about the temperature. Give me feedback on things I can control. So I don't, but I don't feel like I got anything out of it. Well, that's on you, because I presented all this content. So unless you already knew everything, even if you knew everything, then you could have engaged and helped some other people with sharing your knowledge. So I don't give a lot of credence when a person has all these wonderful reviews and now you got 1 or 2 bad reviews.
Okay.
If I get to respond, well, Quentin, I'm so sorry that you feel that way. You know, maybe we can take your feedback to help us to improve upon our practices.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I take your negative. I'm not gonna go toe to toe with you. So Quentin, the one that we just fired last week because you did. Now I'm doing what the guy in the restaurant did. I've dropped. So
Oh,
it's not gonna buy, because if somebody doesn't cater to don't want to do business with me because I have 1 or 2 bad evaluations, but all the rest of them are good. Then you're probably one of the ones who would have left a bad evaluation no matter how great my service was for you.
I think that ownership, the word I own, when you have a business that's catering to the public, this is where, like I said, he had that moment. Dude, you own a business that caters to the public. So technically, these people pay your bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, like I said, I just hope that with
He's
all
got
this,
to fix it
yeah,
though. He'll
yeah,
bounce back, but he
yeah,
has. And that's the other thing. That is also professionalism. Remember, I told you the young lady at the end of the conversation, she apologized and told me thank you for being patient and helping me. So she had a revelation just in
yeah,
that interaction. And to me, that's what it's about.
yeah,
That, to me, she rose up to the level of professionalism that I now let her know this is what I expect from you. So you're
yeah,
either going to come up here or we're just going to end the conversation.
yeah. Because it's so unique, the position that you're in, because majority of the people that come to you guys, we all have problems,
Mm-hmm.
but their biggest problem that they're trying to deal with is just not having a job. But then all those other problems, they start thinking about all those other problems. So the initial intake has to be very professional, has to be patient, has to be understanding, have to be a good
Mm-hmm.
listener, because
Mm-hmm.
you could it's like when we talk about your education and what you're doing in the education field, you have to play everybody. You have to be the social worker. You have to be the educator. You have to be the parent because you are a parent. So you have to wear all these hats to try to solve or to at least direct this person in the right direction. And that's a very unique situation, and to try to get them to remain professional.
Yeah. And because of my love for the field and where we are right now with, I technically retired from the workforce. I put 32 years in. And so I now work for myself. And so it I have a passion. We've got to raise up people who are going to continue when it's time for us to go sit down somewhere. you
Yeah,
know and so but it is a societal issue. Is because I'm not the only employer dealing with this. I'm sure pretty much everybody who has to interview are dealing with this, especially with that age group coming right out of high school, 18 to about 30, 32.
yeah.
And so we need to look at what have we been doing for the past 15 years or so that these what have we done, what does society look like for them, that they don't have this understanding. It was almost time for us to go, but I want to bring this in here because I'm going to bring it back home to the babies. We've been doing virtual school now for almost this whole year, right? And one of the things that people were complaining about early on was that children were coming to the Zoom in their pajamas. They were laying up in the bed, again. So that that's a loud message of what's accepted. My children would have never. First
The
of all, in
Zoom,
my household, when you got up, you did what you needed to do as far as bathing, hygiene, and you put your clothes on.
the Zoom has put everybody on blast. The bad teacher, the bad students, the
The
bad
bad
parent.
parent.
And I'm not saying that anybody is a bad parent because that's
Right,
subjective, but it put
right.
everybody on blast on. Okay, let's see if this person is a real good educator. If they really, and I'm not doubting anybody's education and what they're trying to teach, but the Zoom school system, let's say
Has
Zoom
exposed
schools,
us.
has
Yeah.
exposed us for what we're really doing.
Yeah. All of us. All of
Yeah.
us. And so my thing now is, and maybe we'll talk about that in 2 weeks, Quentin, when we come back, because my question I keep asking is to some of my colleagues, what are we going to do to help fix this? Because these children are behind. They can't read. They haven't held a real book in their hands because everything for school is being done. So we're thinking about starting Saturday school. And they're like, but they're in school all week. They're not going to want to come. I said, they're going to want to come to ours because we're
I,
going to do some things different.
what
So,
Julia just says something, and it's kind of she's right. She said it starts at home, but
yeah.
it's kind of to the point like, okay, I agree it starts at home. Sharon agrees it starts at home.
Hmm.
Julia agrees it starts at home.
But if
We don't
home is not doing it,
we don't got small kids. Whether you guys, Julie's an educator too. You
mhm,
two are the educators. You know it starts at home. You can't. That's a barrier that you might can't cross. And as an educator, your responsibility that you've taken is to teach that child.
yeah.
And it's kind of ugh,
And you impact the home how you can, Quentin. Again, if I approach my parents on a professional level, I get to know them first. I'm not going to try to give them any kind of advice or ask questions when we first meet because I haven't established a relationship with you. So it's my job over the next 2 months or so to begin to build and establish a rapport and a relationship where you trust me because you understand what I say. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So once I have communicated to you and you know that anything I'm saying to you is not because I'm trying to judge you, beat you down, but I'm saying it because I care about your child, I care about your family.
Mm.
Then we can, and some people I don't care. Some of them you better know which ones you can reach your hand out to say, I'd like to share something with you, a little something.
And this
And the
and
ones you just let it go. You do what you can with little Sharon while you have little Sharon in your care, and you can't pay attention to the fact that mom and them walking behind Sharon with blunts hanging out their mouth
and
and
this
and,
and
and
this is
half
why
dressed.
this is why in the age of COVID now we need to have these more people need to watch these type of shows and engage and for all of us to have a better understanding as individuals and then as a collective on what we need to do as Muhammad Ali's favorite statement is uh, the rent we pay. What's his favorite statement?
Oh
Oh, I
man,
forgot Muhammad Ali's statement. It's a very good statement too.
I know what you're talking about. My mentor used it last week. We
Uh,
gonna have to find it now. Somebody out there in our viewership land, look
Julia,
us
you
up.
remember the statement Muhammad Ali saying about paying for the rent for the day? And but basically, we know the statement. We just can't remember it. But that's what a lot of people don't understand is that we all, as a collective, have an obligation
Mm-hmm.
or certain responsibility to each other, and it's like we have to bring it back. We have to bring that balance back. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I really enjoyed tonight's discussion.
Hold on. Here it is. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth.
Mm,
And see, that's the other reason I don't understand why people are not knowledgeable.
mm.
We walk around with computers in our hands, pockets, purses, cars, but yet we claim we don't have it. You got a whole college degree. I have a whole college degree sitting in my hand.
Ain't that something?
But yeah, that and you're right. That is service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Yep, I'm gonna have to use that and just have a conversation. What does that mean to you? So
Listen, episode 6 was fantastic.
yes. See, we can have fun together
We
without
I
guests.
you really got my wheels turning about something that I think that I discussed with you before, but we'll discuss it behind the
Okay.
scenes. And like I told you, you educators, you guys never cease to amaze me because the responsibility that you guys have chose is tremendous. It's not an easy job.
No, but we love it. Those of us who love it, really truly love it, are the ones who are having the most impact. So
Let's hope that this next administration hires a very competent Secretary of Education.
I believe they will. I believe that they will. Yeah. You know, that's our hope.
with, with,
Wait,
with,
wait.
with,
How you do it? Is there one out there? Is there anybody
listen,
who will
listen.
raise their hands?
All I can say is this: one thing that you did teach me is I'm not really worried about the secretary as much. I'm worried about when they start talking about cuts. Because what did you teach me? The first thing that they cut is education,
Education. Yeah.
not that military who got carte blanche and who got a blank check. It's that
Educate,
education.
education, and the elderly. And somebody made a statement, and I said, "Wow, it's true," because they don't give into the economy; they just take. Old people have given, so we need to respect them even more because we wouldn't be where we are without what they've done. And the children are the ones who are going to do it in the future. So how dare we not help them? Because right now in their current state, they don't give into the economy. But that's really not true. They don't give into the immediate, but they're going to give to the economy. They've either given or they're going to give.
Ain't
So
that something? We're going to
mhm.
close the show. Thanks
All
for
right.
joining us. We had a great show. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Remember, in the trenches with early educators. With that, stay blessed.